too want to run away from my mediocre life and become a gay pirate. But we don't always get what we want. Hey, it's Ali. Welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, it's too late. I'm in your walls. So some of you may have heard of this little show about gay pirates called Our Flag Means Death. I ignored this show for the longest time. I really did. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, when I first saw this show bopping around on Twitter with fan art, I thought it was just some random person's random obscure ass fan art. And then someone said it was a real show, and I was like, And then someone said that Taika Watiti was in it, and I was like, And then I found out that it was actually gay and not just some random delusions of a fandom, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it. So I watched it. I gave into peer pressure and I watched it, and wow, another 10 out of 10 for the books, and we're going to talk about it today. Sometimes, kids, giving into peer pressure is okay. I'm lying. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. So if you like this video at any time, please give it a like and subscribe. I make videos like these all the time. And for the algorithm, tell me what your favorite fanfic trope was in this show. So quickly, I'll give a semi-spoiler free, I'm not giving any promises, synopsis of the show. The show follows a pirate, a gentleman pirate named Stede Bonnet, who is like a real pirate. Like, it's based off of the real life pirate, which I found out like halfway through the show, which I thought was amazing. Stede Bonnet has a big inheritance from his father, so he's never had to work really a day in his life. Not that he's really suited for any type of manual labor, but he starts to lament his stuffy, aristocratic lifestyle and eventually runs away to become a pirate. He leaves his wife and his 2 kids behind and buys a big giant ass ship and just runs off to go become a pirate. And that's where the show starts. And him and this ragtag group of pirates sail the 7 seas in hopes to become a big, ferocious, fearsome pirate. Piratey things ensue, hilarity ensues. It's a good show. Now, this show is definitely a comedy first and foremost, but obviously it is definitely a lot more mature than, say, something like Heartstopper. But I will explain at the very end that that's not a bad thing. I think both equally have their place, but I'll explain that later. But first and foremost, it is a comedy, and then secondly, it's a drama, and then thirdly, I think this is just a fan fiction come to life. And you definitely get that with like every single character. Like, I swear to God, every single character follows that exact same line of thinking. Like Stede, he starts off as this like, oh, cherishable, quirky little guy who just wants to become a pirate, and then you're like, oh, he's a bit fucked up actually. Oh, am I on a fanfic? It's the same with Blackbeard. You start to go, oh my God, it's Blackbeard, the ferocious pirate. Oh, he's a bit fucked up actually, like tragic backstory fucked up. Oh, am I in a fan fiction? What the fuck? And obviously, as I said before, he runs off to go live his life as a pirate. He does this because he doesn't really feel like he fits into his lifestyle. And oh my God, I am just realizing the historical implications of running off to go be a pirate because you don't fit into society. And this has heavy LGBT themes. Yeah, I get it. I see what you're doing. I see what y'all were doing. Okay, you and me? Right here, we're on this wavelength. I get you. I got you. This show is pretty much a bodice ripper for gay pirates. And I'm so happy. We get stuff like Bridgerton and Downton Abbey and all of the rest of those period piece bodice ripper shows, right? But we never get something for us, okay? Like, you can't, like, obviously gays have existed before. Newsflash, in case you're new here. Gays have existed during these periods as well. Gays have existed probably since the dawn of fucking time, okay? I'm sure there were 2 cavemen in a cave somewhere and be like, wow, I really don't want to mate to reproduce. I just want to hang out with this guy all day. So obviously during these time periods that we love to make shows about, like the Victorian era, the fact that we've gotten like little to no like gay Victorian era bodice ripper, just fun time with corsets and shit, it's a shame. It's a real shame. Bridgerton has so much potential with that, by the way. I don't even watch Bridgerton, but I watch people who watch Bridgerton, and they said it has so much potential. So I believe them. I believe them when that has so much potential. Anyway, we're not talking about Bridgerton. This is my Bridgerton. Our flag means death. That is my Bridgerton. I feel the exact same way that people do when they watch Bridgerton. I felt that way when I was watching Our Flag Means Death, okay? The drama, the intrigue. You're just there to have a good time. You're not worried about historical accuracy, okay? You're not worried about how they got from the middle of the fucking ocean to this island in the Bahamas so fucking quickly. We're not worried about that, okay? We're just worried about the drama, the intrigue, and the gay pirates, okay? And I meant it. Just like every other bodice ripper is pretty much a slow burn enemies to lovers fanfic, this right here is a slow burn enemies to lovers fanfic, okay? Oh, Taika Watiti, my beloved Tumblr sexy man. Has Taika been a Tumblr sexy man? If he hasn't, he needs to be. He needs to be Tumblr's boy of the month. He's not white, so he cannot be Tumblr's white boy of the month. But I vote to just change Tumblr's white boy of the month to just Tumblr's boy of the month and put Taika on there. I don't know if he's been Tumblr's hottie of the month, but he needs to be. He fucking needs to be. Phenomenal job he did producing. But you know what? I have seen, and David Jenkins is the writer-creator of this show. He needs his props as well. Y'all talk about Taika Watiti, and I do admit Taika is the thing that got me into the show, but the actual writer of the show, David Jenkins, needs just as much props. He did a phenomenal job. Tell he was a theater kid at heart. Everything about this show, from the production to the characters to the plot, screams theater kid, okay? And Taika was just the, like, confirmation that I needed that this was gonna be gay. Like, I didn't know if it was actually gay or if people were just drawing fan art or whatever. But then someone said Taika was in it. And I was like, oh, okay. No, I get it now. Okay, so it is actually gay. All right. Let me just... Taika, my gay king. Everything I touch turns to gay king. Yeah, okay, I'm going. I'm just glad that David Jenkins was able to make his Pirate AU gay fanfic come to life. Like, bitch, when I say that this is a fanfic, I mean it. Like, it hits every single trope of a good slow burn enemies to lovers fanfic. Like, you have the really good character building with Stede in the first couple of episodes, and then bam, love interest enters the fray. But they aren't your love interest. No, not yet. Actually, you just think they're your enemy. I didn't get any spoilers for this show, so I really did think that Blackbeard was just gonna be the enemy for a sec. Like, I really did. I didn't know where this was going, like, at all. And then bam, romantic tension starts to rise. And then bam, conflict number 1 starts to happen, which is Izzy in this case. Izzy is that annoying little cousin who you just, like, you love them, but you're just kind of like, can you shut up for like 5 seconds? Izzy, I wanted to punch Izzy. It's funny, and I think what's hilarious is that I consider this a found family fanfic type of show. Like, I consider this found family, even with Izzy. Like, I consider Izzy a part of the found family. And I know y'all are like, but I hate Izzy, and he was a bit blah, blah, blah. But he's just as fumbling and bumbling as the rest of the idiots on that fucking ship, okay? And he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So he's just your annoying cousin who tries to boss you around and tells you what to do. That's him. That's just him. But anyway, bam, then Izzy's plan backfires, and they end up just falling for each other even more, which... such a fanfic fucking trope, honestly. And then bam, beach episode. Not that beach episode, the other one where they go on the treasure hunt. I count that as a beach episode because it was mostly filler, but then at like Stede and Blackbeard got to have their little time together, and they got to grow closer. And Lucius was there. I didn't like Lucius at first. I'm gonna admit, I did not like him at first. But then that treasure hunt episode happened, and I was like, all right, Lucius, best wingman, protect Steve Bonnet. We got you. Yeah, protect him at all costs. That entire scene when they were sitting there talking about the restaurant, I was like this the whole time. I was like, y'all are so fucking cute. Like, they were literally, oh my god. I feel bad for Lucius because it does look like your two dads having, like, flirting with each other, and I would be I would be uncomfortable too. So I felt for Lucius in that moment, but I was so fucking happy because they like that was a defining, like you don't get to see that a lot in like romances and shows. Like you don't get to see the defining moment that like makes the two like, oh, they're in love with each other. And the fact that we got a scene like that where it clearly shows that they are in love with each other, that it was cute. It was also funny. I loved it. 100% loved it so much. And then just when you think it's gonna be so fucking cute, bam, conflict number 2 happens, and it's what's his face, Jack, Calico Jack. Fuck that man. Oh, it screamed like in a fanfic when the ex comes back and then the love interest starts to divert to their old ways. Like we've seen this in so many shows. Like we've seen it in like fucking She-Ra. We've just seen it. We've seen it in like so many shows where just the ex comes back and starts to like bring all that toxicity with them, and the other character starts to fall into that because they deep down they don't believe that they deserve to be a better person. Blackbeard, he doesn't think he deserves to become a better person, so he just slips right back into his old toxic ways, and it's such a character-defining moment when he decides, fuck, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this. I want to be with this random ragtag group of pirates that are kind of weird and kind of funky, kind of crazy. That's where I want to be. I don't want to be here whipping people. What? The whip triggered me. It triggered me. I don't like the whip. Yeah, I did not like the whip at all. I really fucking didn't. Bam, like I said, even more character development. And then we get to the climax. Which is, I believe, the words escaping my mind. Act of Mercy. Is that what it's called? Act of Mercy? It's Act of Mercy. Anyway, it's when fucking Stede and Blackbeard get caught and they're about to like, you know, die pretty much, and they're just like, oh, Act of Mercy, whatever, and then they turn over their pirate ways, quote unquote. That point, and then, you know, we finally get the kiss. This is why I can't read slow burn fan fiction. I can watch a slow burn show, but I cannot read a slow burn fan fiction because I'm just like, can you just fucking kiss already? And then we finally get the kiss though, and you're like, yes, and then Stede does something unbelievably stupid, and you're like, no, and then Blackbeard does a complete 180 and black slides on his character development, and you're like, no, and then the season's over. The season's fucking over. You're like, oh, okay. Like, this show does such a good job with, like, making you feel invested in every single character, every single plot point. Like, I'm a newfound slow burn person. Like I said, I'm not really into slow burns, but this one got me. This one definitely got me. And, you know, maybe I'll start reading slow burn fan fictions again. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, y'all don't need to know about my fan fiction life. That's another video for another fucking day. But actually, like, from the beginning, like I said, a lot of characters, like, I really was iffy about. Like, Lucius, the character who was like a Blackbeard fanatic, like even him, the Blackbeard fanatic character who was annoying as hell, still I felt for him at the end of the season. Like, I wanted them to be okay at the end of the season. I hope Lucius is okay. Like, I genuinely want him to be okay. Blackbeard really looked at him and said, there can only be one tragic gay on this fucking ship, and just tossed him overboard. Like, holy shit, I hope he's okay. Anyway, like, it's that. Exactly. It's that. The fact that I'm sitting here like, oh my God, I hope Lucius is okay. I hope he's okay. Like, I did not like him in the first episode. And then it just, as the season went on, I started to more and more and gradually, like, get into these characters, feel really invested. They do such a good job, like, characterizing everybody and giving them their own little quirks and quips. Like, when old what's-his-face's fucking bird died, I was like, oh no. Oh no, like, I felt bad for this man. Like, I genuinely started to feel and care for these characters just for the betrayal at the end. That's how you do it. For all you aspiring writers out there, this is how you do it. You draw your audience in. Good slow burn, good character development. You have them go through a little bit of trials and tribulations, but not too much. Just enough to where everybody can get closer and love each other and blah, blah, blah. And then right at the end, you just rip it all away. You rip it all fucking away. And that's exactly what this fucking show did. I need a moment. Anyway, back to the whole fanfic thing. This hits on so many different like fan fiction tropes, like an almost kiss, a dance, miscommunication, secret identities, enemies to lovers, fish out of water with the whole French party thing. Oh, what an episode. Such a great episode. And of course, we love it when the characters bring out the best in each other. And I guess betrayal, we can mention that too. But anyway, back to the characters. I'm done talking about how much of a fan fiction this was. Back to the characters. Found family, absolutely. I didn't think it was going to be found family at first because we don't actually get to see them forming said family, but they are ragtag enough in the beginning that it doesn't matter. Like, the fact that they are so ragtag that, like, they barely are even friends in the beginning is enough for me to be like, okay, we don't need to see the forming of the family. I can still tell that this is found family, and by the at the end of the show, at the end of the season, I'm sitting there like, okay, why did we leave them stranded on a rock? Why did we leave my best friend, my bestie? Why did we leave them on that ship with why did we throw Lucius off the ship? And obviously that is due to the amazing writing and also the amazing acting. Every single actor, give them their props. Give them their fucking props. They are all so good. They ate it up. They ate their characters up. They really did. Like, everyone who had a specific trope for their specific character, and they ate it up. They ate it up so well. And even the minor characters, you can still see their little bit of character development that they get from the beginning to the end. Like, freaking Blackbeard fanatic #1 over there, whose name I still forget. I am so sorry. But his character in the beginning was just like, I will do mutiny on this man at any fucking given point in time. And even though they were still kind of like joking about it towards the end, it was really kind of like, no, this is my captain. Like, like, that's my captain right there. Like, you talk all this shit, but at the end of the day, like, that's your fucking captain right there. And my shirt has fallen apart. Hold on. 1 second. Anyway, Jim was one of my faves. That's my bestie right there. Go off, Jim. That's my non-berry pioneer. What the fuck? That's my non-berry. Non-berry. Yeah, Jim is non-berry. Okay, guys? No, my non-binary pirate king right there. Let's fucking clap it up. Let's go. It's like everyone on that ship was a wingman for Stede at some point. Lucius, yes. Lucius saw Stede and was just like, that's a baby gay, and I have to help out the baby gay. Like, Lucius is a seasoned gay, and Stede is a baby gay. And they're just like, yeah, let me just help him out. Let me just help. I feel like everybody was just kind of like, let's just help him out, bro. He pays well. We have a place to sleep, a place to eat. Let's just help this man out. And I think that's what really, like, connects them towards the end of the show. Why do I keep squinting? It's literally cloudy outside. It is not sunny outside. Anyway, all of the relationships, romantically or not, they're like this by the end of the season. And it has such amazing payoffs. And there's such choice moments. Like, hello, you wear fine things well. Now, when that happened, I was like, oh, wait, they're the gay ones. I was really confused because I didn't really know what character was which. I've seen some fan art, but, like, I wasn't really, like, diving head first. So when he said that, I was like, oh, it's you two. You're the gay one. I get it now. Anyway, okay, we gotta stop talking about this. Okay, the comedy. Let's talk about the comedy and not the characters. Anyway, I could talk about the characters all day. There's a reason the characters are always the longest section in my videos when I talk about them, because to me, if you do it right, it's the best part. The best part is the characters. But anyway, we gotta move on. So I'm gonna talk about the comedy. Dry humor, extremely just dry and abrupt humor. That is like my favorite type of humor. The shit that like is so awkward that you have to laugh. Like, that is a lot of the humor in this show. Even like the most serious moments, aside from few here or there, are immediately cut off with like some type of joke or humor. Like, even at the end when Stede came back and it was very awkward, it was still like pretty funny. Like, some moments like him walking in on Mary. like the lady who was totally willing to kill him if like that's what Mary needed, which I was like, girl, me too. If I didn't know who this man was, I'd offer to kill him for you. Like, who the fuck's gonna know? We're in like Victorian fucking like not England, they were in the Bahamas, but like we're in that era. Like, who the fuck is gonna know that I killed you? No one's gonna fucking know, and I could continue to be a widow and eventually marry this painter dude. Like, no one would know. But Stede doesn't deserve that. So even when she was trying to kill him, like the thought process leading up to it was very sad and very like, oh man, like she's literally debating killing this person because she feels like that's her only way to a happy life. And then it's cut off when she actually tries to kill him, and it's really fucking funny because she was gonna stick the poker in his ear. And, like, it's moments like those that just get abruptly fucking cut off. This is the first drama I think in a while, or like non-show that is directed towards a younger audience that has made me laugh out loud in a while. Like, this show obviously is mature, it's not directed at a younger audience, but I still was like laughing out loud. Like, older like stuff that is for adults tends to not be funny unless it's like directly a comedy like cartoon thing. Like, unless it's an adult cartoon, that's the only time you really see humor in adult shows anymore, unless it's a sitcom. And like finally we get something that's like a drama with plot start to finish that is intentionally funny, and it's like supposed to be really super funny. I don't know. I know people are probably like, well, Bridgerton is funny. I don't care. I don't care about Bridgerton. That's a lie. I'll probably watch it eventually. But like, you know, this isn't about her. Okay. And I think the strongest point of this show is the fact of how funny it is, mixed in with the realness of reality, and that every character, because of how funny and relatable and just cherishable they are, their tragic backstories still seem relatable. Like, Stede obviously can be related to because it's like, oh, not fitting in where you think you are and settling and blah blah blah. But then I can also relate to Blackbeard and like his life and his tragic backstory, and then I can also relate to Jim and their backstory and everything. It's just the characters are written so well that there's something for everybody, right? No matter what the backstory is, even if you can't directly relate to it, because it is written so well and so funny, you will find something in it to relate to. And I think that's what makes it funny as well. You know, we like to laugh at ourselves here. We do. So seeing something that you can relate to makes it funnier, in my opinion. I gotta talk about our two main characters. I got to Stede, Bonnet, and Blackbeard. I was not expecting them to get together. I promise you, I stayed away from like all types of spoilers, really, aside from the occasional fan art. That's what got me into the show, but I still had no idea. I didn't even know Taika Watiti was Blackbeard until the like last piece of fan art I saw before I decided to watch the show. Oh, Stede Bonnet. Oh, this boy, baby boy, pat him on the cheek. Oh. He is just so precious. He is so precious. I know as a grown-ass man, but he is so precious. I am a sucker for a good character development, backslide, and then more character development. I feel like it's the optimal way to go for a character. Like, what's that quote from Everything Everywhere All at Once that's just like the husband when he says that, like, I know that it may seem weak to you, but like this is how I fight, and he's talking about how he fights with love and kindness. And I cried in the theater. I feel like that's also Stede. Like, he's finding alternate ways to navigate life and to fight against like aristocracy and the stuffiness and the horribleness of it all and blah blah blah. Like, I feel like that's him. And oh, that quote gets me every time. That quote gets me every fucking time. Anyway, that's Stede Bonnet's quote. That's his quote. Like, that episode with him and Blackbeard at the French party, I think sums it up really, really well. Like, he tries to like fit in like a little bit too much, and then they all take to Blackbeard, but then in reality they were all really just making fun of him. And then Stede comes back and he's able to turn the tables and use his experience in living in this stuffy aristocratic lifestyle against these people and get them to pretty much turn on each other and like kind of like a big fuck you to them, like, fuck you, dude, like, I hate this life. And Blackbeard's like, oh my god, this shit is horrible. Like, I don't know why. I understand like you're never from this life and you always looked at it from like, that would be fun. I can totally understand why you would like want to live that life, but the second you look at it, you're just like, oh fuck no, I don't want to be here. I don't want to fucking be here. That's Blackbeard. Even Stede's backslide was still like really meaningful, like his backslide and coming back, and he's like, well, maybe this is where I was meant to be this whole time. Even he did that after he kissed Blackbeard, which made me so mad. Like, it was so frustrating. Like, I was not on his side. I was like, if you don't wake up and smell the roses, my guy, and smell the sea breeze and get your ass back on that fucking ship, bro. Like, the whole time I was like clenched, like, please. And then Mary, like, oh my god, I felt so bad for Mary. I was like, Steve, if you don't get it together, you know that this is not what you want. It's not what Mary wants. Fight against the system and go do something, like, for real. That ending was, ooh, when he went back was so frustrating. It was so frustrating, but it's okay. It's okay because he made the right choice in the end. A little too late, because we gotta move on to Blackbeard now. I believe that Blackbeard is like the perfect realization of a character that is unhinged. Like, when I say like a character is unhinged, this is what I mean. That doesn't mean that they're evil or whatever. That just means that they have the power to do whatever the fuck they want, or they have the like mental capacity to be like, fuck this, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. I don't care. I'm just gonna do whatever I want that feels good and makes me happy. I feel like that's Blackbeard. That's what I mean when I give a definition of unhinged. That's what I want. When I say I want an unhinged character, I want Blackbeard. And of course, we have to give him his tragic anime backstory. Loved it so much. Where he is constantly at war with himself. Like I said earlier, with not believing that he deserves nice things and not believing that he deserves to be a better person. That's why you see so many backslides with this character, because it's like, can I actually change, or is this who I'm just meant to be forever and ever and ever? And especially at the end, oh my god, when he's just like, oh, I'm gonna revert back now to Blackbeard. I'm kicking all of the crew off the ship, which I would see as an act of mercy, except for Lucius. I don't know what was up with that. Hope Lucius is alive. Otherwise, we're gonna have a little bit of an issue. But the rest of the, like, people, aside from Jim, like, they just tossed the rest of the crew off the ship. I think that was very important, aside from the people who they actually absolutely needed, because he still, like, cared for them in a way and doesn't want them to end up, like, in harm's way, which is where he's headed, because he's probably about to do some real destructive shit, some personally destructive shit in season 2. We need a season 2. Yeah, I would see that honestly as an act of mercy. Even though he left them stranded, I think it was his final act of, like, kindness, because he easily could have killed them all, or, like, forced them to work for him and, like, do, like, unsavory things, and then maybe if they don't want to do it, they get killed. So I think that was still, like, an act of mercy at the end of the day. Oh, Blackbeard. And of course, him crying at the end, it's like, obviously he's still hurt inside. Steve, you fucking dumbass. Lastly, of course, we gotta talk about production. Set pieces. I love it. I've been getting more and more into production design lately, and so I've been looking at a lot of set pieces and stuff lately. And when I mentioned earlier that old David Jenkins, like he's an old man in a rocking chair. Oh, David Jenkins. Anyway, he has a theater background, and you can kind of tell. You can tell with the writing, but you can also tell with the production design and the set design. Like, everything looks like it came straight out of a play. Like, and maybe that's just the theme of Pirates, but every set just looks like it came straight out of a play. Like, I can watch this as a play, and that's kind of how, like, all of the Bodice Rippers, to me, seem like. It's like, oh, you're watching it as a play. Like, it's kooky, it's theatrical, it's dramatic, and that's what I got from this show. So props to the production department on there. I love Stede's library. I know they were fucking trashing it at the end. It was so annoying, but, like, it was so pretty. It's so beautiful, and they're like, why would you bring books at sea? Bitch, so I can read. Like, the fuck? Why else would I bring books to sea? So I can read. You don't want to read? I would, that library. Just imagine that filled with, like, manga and YA novels. And that's me. That's literally me, and comic books. And that's my dream library bookshelf right there. Where are we now? Go watch the show. I don't know. Watch the show. I don't know what else to say, really, truly, deeply. Just go watch the show. It's amazing. It's a 10 out of 10. It has great representation in it. It has non-binary representation. Of course, gay representation. women love women representation as well. Just representation all around. It's one of those shows where so far they haven't fucking mentioned like anything in relation to like homophobia or anything like that, which is great. Like, I think that is the way to normalize it. Like, obviously this is a historical piece, but it's a bodice ripper, which means nothing needs to be historically accurate. So we don't have to make homophobia historically accurate either. So homophobia is just like not in the show, or explicitly in the show, which is great. Like, it's not needed in here. Like, Stede doesn't need to battle homophobia, okay? Like, he really doesn't. And I'm so glad, like, Mary is like 100% supportive of him and like lets him go and blah blah blah, where they let each other go, which is a very sweet moment. So I think the representation there is good, despite it being a historical piece. Like, I think it's totally okay that we don't have homophobia in this. Like, it doesn't need to be there because it's just a fun little theatrical romp, okay? It doesn't need to be something that has to, comment on society, even though it does in its own way. Like, it doesn't need to comment on the homophobia of society. Sometimes we just want to have fun. Sometimes gay people just want to have fun, goddammit, okay? So, yes, go watch it. But between this and Heartstopper, the gays are staying winning this year. And I have not yet watched the Owl House. I'm doing it, and then I'm gonna make a video about it later this month. But between this, the Owl House, Heartstopper, I know the gays are winning this year. We stay winning. Pride Month's finna be packed. We stay winning. And I think Heartstopper and Our Flag Means Death are both equally important in representation, and we should be boosting them up just as much as the other. Like, I think Heartstopper obviously is a really good teen romance drama, whatever, and Our Flag Means Death is a good adult drama with good representation. Both of them have amazing representation. Both of them are completely different from each other. Aside from the romance aspect, they are completely different from each other, and they both should be propped up. Not one should not be against the other. Like, you're comparing apples to oranges if you try to be like, is Heartstopper better than fucking Our Flag Means Death? Like, most likely a fucking like 12-year-old is probably not going to be watching Our Flag Means Death, but they're probably going to be watching Heartstopper, and vice versa. A fucking like 50-year-old may not be watching Heartstopper. I say maybe because you never know, but they most likely aren't going to be watching Heartstopper, but they might watch Our Flag Means Death. And that's why it's so important to have so many different types of media with good representation. We can't just have Heartstopper and then just stop. We can't just have Our Flag Means Death and then just stop. Like, no, we need all of it. All of it. Give it to me to consume, because I need all of it, especially as a person who is stuck in this age of like not quite an adult yet, but also no longer a teenager, a young adult. I consume every single media. I consume the super mature stuff. I consume the stuff that's aimed at a younger audience. It's just where I'm at right now in my life, and having good representation all around is so important. So please hype up both of these shows. Hype them up in the comments, hype them up on my social medias, link in the description, hype them up anywhere. I will be hyping them up forever. Is one of the best like representation shows we've seen in a while. Like, shit that can just be, and it doesn't have to be the first gay blah 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 Disney. It could just be, here's the story that happens to have gay people in it. That's where we should be. That is where we should be. That's where we should be with all types of representation. Whether that's representation among disabilities, representation among races, whatever. We should just get to the point where we can be like, here's this cool story that happens to have this representation in it. And that's how we get there. That is, I believe it. That is how we get there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for making it to this point in the video. If you are, I love you so much. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing? Subscribe. I make videos like this all the time. I just made a Heartstopper video, which, like, obviously, if you see my channel, is the most, like, outperforming video out of all of my videos. So, like, thank you so much for that. I was not expecting that. Thank you. So go watch that one if you haven't for some reason. If you've already watched that one, you can watch my Percy Jackson 2-part series where I talk about Percy Jackson, the book to movie adaptation and how much I dislike them. Oh my god, my shirt came apart again. Anyway, so stick around because I will be doing Moon Knight next week, finally. I was going back and forth between this and Moon Knight, and I decided this was more important. I pushed it off twice now, so I had to do this first, but I will be doing Moon Knight next week. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next video.